welcome to my Never Wonderland. I am Elspeth and this is episode 8 of our IVF journey series. In the last 2 episodes, I related my experience during the IVF step 1, which is the ovarian stimulation. I showed pictures and video clips of the injections that we administered at home to stimulate the maturity of more than 1 egg. Again, the goal was to grow and mature as many eggs as possible in 1 cycle. I also mentioned the prices of each injectable medication. Now, for this episode, I'm going to tell you about the days my eggs were harvested, fertilized, and cultured. And those are steps 2, 3, and 4 in the IVF process. Step 2 is called the egg retrieval or ovum or oocyte pickup or OPU day, as my OB would call it for short. So the last day of injections was September 18, 2019. And the morning of that day, we went to the IVF laboratory to have my estradiol or E2 and luteinizing hormone or LH tested again. Then we were given a list of instructions, which I'm going to read for your reference. And they are the following. 1, husband should have at least 3 to 4 days of abstinence from sex. Meaning no sex, not even masturbation. He had to reserve the sperms for the OPU day because that's also the day that he's going to provide sperms for the fertilization of the eggs that would be harvested. In one of the previous episodes, I mentioned that my husband already submitted sperms a week before as security deposit, just in case he'd be too stressed or pressured to provide sperms on the appointed day. We were told that it happens, and you wouldn't want that to happen because it would cost you more money for another procedure. And then instruction 2, for me, 8 hours of fasting the night before the OPU. I must not eat or drink anything starting 11 p.m. That includes chewing gum and candies because my schedule was 7 a.m. on September 20, 2019. And then on the day itself, I must not, even husband, we should not wear any makeup, jewelries, perfume, lotion, dentures, contact lenses, and nail polish. So, come as you are. As clean as you can be. And then 4, be in the laboratory at least 30 minutes before the schedule. And 5, we were reminded that husband will do the semen collection on the same day of the OPU. Then 6, provide a copy of the following documents, which we already provided the day before. Marriage certificate, IDs of husband and wife, results of screening tests done within the past 6 months of the following: VDRL, anti-HIV, HBsAg, anti-HCV, and those are for the both of us. And then just for me, rubella. I also mentioned all of these tests that were ordered by our OB. I mentioned that in previous episode. And then 7, we were reminded about the costs. For the charges, $140,000 for the laboratory. That already includes 1 year of freezing or storage of the embryos, but excluding the professional fees of the doctors. There are 2 doctors, our OB and the anesthesiologist. And the professional fee for those 2 doctors was $103,000. I don't know the division between them, but that's the total for both of them. And then mode of payment is cash or dated checks only. So we followed all of the above on the day, and we were asked to sign a consent and release form for the freezing and storing of the embryos. It's a 3-page long document, and I won't read it anymore lest I might bore you. You can just pause this video and read it if you want. I'm gonna show you. And here is the consent and release form for the freezing and storing of our embryos. Basically stating that we understand and agree to the terms and conditions set by the laboratory. And this is me before going to the lab, all clean but bare of any accessories and leave-on skin products. I was sedated, injected with anesthesia for the procedure, so I didn't see what was done to me the entire time, and husband was not allowed in the operating room. But as explained by our OB beforehand, an ultrasound probe was injected through the vagina for the identification of the follicles, which are the small sacs containing the eggs, and then an ultrasound guide with a thin needle was also inserted to retrieve the eggs. They were sucked in through the needle one by one. It's like they were picking fruits. This took less than an hour, I think. And then I spent another hour or so in the recovery room with husband by my side before we went back to our hotel. You know, just to let the anesthesia wear off before they let you go. Oh, by the way, we checked in at a nearby hotel the day before just to ensure we'll arrive on time for the OPU day. And also so that I can rest after the procedure. And here's the ultrasound during the OPU procedure. And here we are having brunch right after the procedure. Step 3, the fertilization. The eggs harvested from me were fertilized by the fresh sperms provided by husband. Yes, he was able to deliver on that day, which is a good thing because fresh sperms are still preferred over frozen ones. Now, there are two methods of fertilization used in IVF. One is the conventional insemination, wherein healthy sperms and mature eggs are mixed together and incubated overnight. They just let the sperms do their thing, find their way into the eggs the natural way. The other method is called intracytoplasmic sperm injection, or ICSI. In this method, a single healthy sperm is selected and injected into each mature egg. Okay, so one sperm, one egg. But since we already had 2 failed IUIs or intrauterine inseminations, they used the second method to ensure fertilization would take place. And here we are again, having dinner before retiring to our hotel room. The following day, we were informed early in the morning, we were informed through a text message that there were 11 oocytes collected. And 10 of them were mature and injected with sperm. 1 was immature. And of the 10 that were injected, 7 of them were successfully fertilized. So it's a good number. And then after 2 more days, those days are the beginning of the embryo culture or blastocyst stage, or the step 4 in IVF. During this stage, the embryos divide and multiply its cells over 5 to 6 days to become a blastocyst, with an embryo with about 100 cells. But this was just after 2 days. So we were again informed through text that one of the fertilized eggs did not develop well. It did not make it. And that we have 6 good embryos frozen. So that's still a good number. 6 embryo babies. At this point, the blastocyst stage is put to a halt or paused, because we weren't going to transfer them into my uterus just yet. We opted for frozen embryo transfer instead of fresh embryo transfer, meaning we were going to wait for another cycle, the monthly cycle of the female or so before the transfer. Husband and I decided to give my body a rest first. Let it recover from the stimulations and medications before transferring the embryos, because there's a possibility of ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome, or OHSS. There had been a few cases, although rare, wherein the newly pregnant woman was admitted to ICU because of this. This endangers both the mother and the child. One of them could die. And I've read one case in which the woman actually died. Of course, we don't want that. Anyway, OHSS is a whole new other topic. For now, I'll just leave it with some photos. Here are the 11 harvested eggs, followed by the embryology summary report. And here are the fertilized eggs, the 6 good embryos, our embryo babies. Okay, that's it for now. Till next episodes, please subscribe for updates. Thank you for watching.